Okay. So yesterday's class, we were talking about this cohesion and coupling, where I just started with the introductory part that cohesion measures the functional strength of a module or a function, and coupling measures the degree of interdependence or the degree of interaction. So that is the reason why the functional strength should be higher and the interdependence between any two modules should be lower, as lower as possible. If this is the scenario, then we will get a good software design of the modules of the product which we want to use. Now, by this term, like when do we say that the two modules are highly coupled? When there is a lot of information that is passed in between the two modules or the two functions, whether it's a shared data or it's some lump sum amount of data. So if a lot of information is passed between the two modules or the functions, then we say that the two modules are very highly coupled. And if suppose the two between the two modules, the level of interaction is less, that means they do not 1 minute. So that means that if they pass very less information between themselves, or the two modules are not that much related for functioning on each other, then we say that they are very loosely coupled. Okay. And I just said that to understand the concept of cohesion, what happens is when all the modules are working perfectly to obtain a single objective, then we say that the modules are they have high cohesion. That means they work in line. Suppose I want to suppose I am expecting one function and that module is returning me some other function, then it is not possible, right? So all the functions of the product, they need to work for a common objective. And if those particular modules, they cooperate with each other in order to work for that common objective, then we say that those modules have high cohesion among them. Okay, so these two was the introductory part that where I stopped yesterday. And today we will be studying about the different classification of cohesiveness and the classification of coupling. Okay, my voice is audible to you all, right? Because I did not ask it when I started talking.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, one term which you people will hear, or which I have already told or uttered a lot of times, is functional independence. Right? So, what do we mean by this term, functional independence? This means that a module will perform a single task on its own, and it will need very little interaction with other modules. If that is the scene of the module, that majority of the work he can do on its own, but for a smaller thing, it depends on the working procedure of other module. Then we say that those modules are functionally independent. And whenever we design a software, we design this software product in the software design part, we look for drawing these functionally independent modules. We look for that how the entire software product which I want to build for my client, I can portray these as some functionally independent modules, so that when these modules will work together, they will perform the entire work of my software product. So when will I say that a module is functionally independent? It will obviously have high cohesion. and it will always have low coupling. So functionally independent means less interdependence with each other. That means coupling will be low. And functionally independent means they can work on its own in order to work for the common objective. That means the cohesion will be high. So highly cohesive and lowly coupled modules are said to be functionally independent modules. So they are functionally independent of the other modules. Now, why is this functionally independence? It's a key or an important character term in order for or a good design. It's mainly because of three reasons. Why functionally independence? This term is given that much importance while doing this software designing part. Mainly because of three reasons. First one is the error isolation. So whenever an error will exist in a module, what happens is functional independence. It will reduce the chances of error being passed to other modules. If my module can work on its own, it is not independent on some other modules. That means if my module is giving me some error, that means that there is an error in my module only. But if my module is linked with 3 other modules and as an outcome I see some error is coming, then I will have to check all my module plus the 3 other modules with which it is interlinked so that I can find out the error. So error isolation is very much easier if the modules have functional independence. That is, they work on its own. So if my module is giving an error, it means there is an error in my module. If module B is giving an error, that means there is an error in module B. But if module A is very much related to module B, C, D, E, then I will have to search for the error in all the 4 modules. This is the reason why functional independence is given so much priority. So error isolation becomes easier because since its interaction with the other modules is low, so an error which exists in the module, it's very much unlikely that it will affect the functioning of other modules. Okay. So once a failure is detected, error isolation becomes easier in order to locate the error. And when a module is not functionally independent, what happens is once a failure will be detected, so error can be potentially in any of the large stages, right? Wait a minute. So once a failure is detected, it can be potentially in any of the modules, right? So this searching is difficult. So if the searching is difficult, the isolation will also be difficult. So error isolation is one cause why this functionally independence is given that much importance. Second is scope of reuse. What happens is reuse of a module, it will become easier for the development of the applications. It will become easier. The reason is that functionally independent module, they perform some, suppose, well-defined precise tasks. And the interface of this module with other modules are very few, or if it is there, it is very simple. So functionally independent module, they can be easily taken out and reused in different programs. So if in your, suppose you are building a program for a calculator, there you write three functions: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Okay. For addition, the function is not dependent on multiplication. For multiplication, the function is not dependent on subtraction. So each and every module has a separate usage. Now suppose I am running some algorithm where I need that first step is, given any two products, you will do the multiplication. Suppose in another program I am finding the area of someone, so I will have to multiply. So in that area program, what can happen is I can take the multiplication function or the multiplication module from my calculator program, and I can easily place it in my area program. So I am reusing the code, I am reusing the module. Now, how is this reuse possible? Because when I take out the multiplication part of code, it is not dependent on any other part of code. I do not have to take some tail of other program, modules. Fine. So this is the reason why it can be easily taken out and it can be easily placed or reused in some different programs. So when someone writes, suppose my entire product is divided into 5 modules. Suppose module 1, there is some lines of code. Module 2, there are some lines of code. Module 3, there are some lines of code. And my company got another project, similar type of project, just a little difference. And there also I am seeing that module 1, module 2 is same as the project which I am working on. So what I will do, I will easily share my module 1 and module 2 code, or my module 1, module 2 concepts with the other project team, so that they can ultimately do the work easily. Ultimately, what happens is the profit of the company is important. You need to share your works in the other project team. That is not an issue. So this is the reason also that there is a scope of reuse. When you have functionally independent modules, you can reuse the codes or reuse the modules. Rather, if a module, it interacts with several other modules, or the functions of a module, it performs very different tasks, then it will be very much difficult to reuse it. So this is another reason why the functionally independent modules are given preference always. Next is the understandability. So when modules are functionally independent, we have learned when we were starting this chapter, we have seen this, that the complexity of the design is greatly reduced. So since different modules, it can be understood in isolation, so the modules are independent of each other. So in a calculator function, if in a single program I do everything, then it will be a problem. But if I declare each and every work as a function, so there is an add function which will do the addition, there is a subtract function which will do the subtraction. Like this, if I section my codes, then obviously it will be easier for the user also, or the programmer, to understand. So therefore, understandability is also an issue. Why we need separate modules for separate performing tasks or functions? The reason is understandability of the entire product becomes easier. Okay, so these are the 3 reasons why functionally independent modules are so much of importance, and why we give so much importance to the term cohesion or cohesiveness, because we look for functionally independent modules. Fine. So next we study is classification of cohesiveness or classification of cohesion. Now, if you have any query up to the part which I taught, you may ask now. Okay. So this is the classification of the cohesion from low to high. This is the entire picture. So there are 7 types of classification: coincidental, logical, temporal, procedural, communicational, sequential, and functional. Okay. And this has the lowest degree of cohesiveness or the lowest degree of cohesion, and this has the highest degree of cohesion. So from low to high, these are the different types of classification of cohesiveness. So since we have studied that cohesiveness is the degree to which the different functions of the module, they cooperate with each other in order to work towards a single objective. So the different modules of a design, they can possess different degrees of freedom. It's possible. So this is the reason why the different classes of cohesion came, because different modules can have different degrees of freedom, because it may be there that module 1 is linked with module 2 and module 2 is linked with module 3 and 4. So it is obviously module 1 is strongly not related to module 3 and 4. So the degree of module 1 should be different and the degree of module 2 should be different. So this is the reason why the different types of modules can have different types of cohesion. And this is where the classification came, in order to indicate the degree to which these modules cooperate with each other in order to work towards a single objective. Okay. So coincidental, it is the worst type of cohesion, and functional, it is the best type of cohesion, because coincidental is depicting the lowest and functional is depicting the highest. Fine. Now one by one, we will be studying each and every cohesion, each and every types of cohesion rather. Okay. So first one is the coincidental cohesion. Now, a module is said to have a coincidental cohesion if it performs a set of tasks that relate to each other very loosely. So, relate to each other means, suppose my withdrawal function in an ATM is very loosely related to my cash deposit function in an ATM, right? Withdrawal will perform some other objective and cash deposit function will perform some other.
I guess I don't know.
So is my voice audible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I was talking about coincidental when I say that they perform a task that are not related to each other. Now, one example I will just write and show it to you. Suppose So suppose actually this, what happens is when the module contains a random collection of functions that are placed in that module out of pure coincidence. So a proper thought process or a proper designing process is not applied while placing these modules or these functions under the module name. So this is where the coincidental cohesion will happen. So generally what happens is when there are like inexperienced or fresher programmers, novice programmers, this category of cohesion is likely to happen because they often bundle up functions to modules rather than arbitrarily, like they bundle up the functions arbitrarily. They do not give a proper name to this uh, while clubbing the functions. They do not follow any thought or logic, and this is where the coincidental cohesion takes place. Now if you look at this example, the different functions of this module, they carry out different activities. They are issuing the book, they are creating members for the library, it is handling librarian leave, it is creating the vendor credit, how much which vendor is will get which much amount. So these are different types of functions. So each and every function is doing some different activities, so they cannot be under this module name book lending. If I at all have to do the book lending module, so suppose I am giving the module name book lending, then at least the functions to this module should be related to this module. So the function can be issue book, it can be there. Return book can be there. Then the function query whether a book is present or not, it is free or not to lend, it can be there. Whether to find the borrower, that who is the last borrower of this book, it can be there. So if you can see, these functions, they all work together in order to give a output to the book lending module, right? Under book lending, you need to issue a book, you need to return a book, you need to query whether a book is available, any copy is not, you need to find the last borrower of this book. So these all functions, they work together in order to serve the output of the module book lending. So this is one example of a good way of clubbing the functions. But if you see this example, the functions that are here are not that much related to book lending also. Each function is performing different activities. So this comes under the coincidental type of cohesion, where each of the tasks, they relate to each other very loosely, or they do not relate to each other. And this is the example of coincidental cohesion. Okay. Next comes the example of logical cohesion. So if all the elements of the module, they perform similar operations, then we say that it is logically cohesive. That means, suppose there is a module that contains a set of print functions to generate various type of output reports. So it can give you the output of grade sheets. It can give you the output of salary slips. It can give you the output of annual reports. So in the print function, several type of output reports which are possible for that print function to print. That means when the user will click the print function, several possibilities it will see, whether you want to print the grade sheet or the salary or the annual reports or the something. So all the things that could be taken a printout from the computer of that company, they are all clubbing it under the print function. So if you see, grade sheets and salary slips are different, annual reports are different, but they all fall under the print function in that module. So they are logically related to this function. Even if they will print different things, but that I'm so sorry. Actually, today there is a lot of actually power issues. So there is no current. So all the backup has gone. So a lot of problem is happening. Okay, so I was talking about logical cohesion. So I was saying that if all the functions they were working together to print, then what happened is I can club it under the module name ki print operations. So the functions are different, but they are logically related to the module. So this is one example where logical cohesion comes into play. Next is the concept of temporal cohesion. Okay, first let me just take the snapshot of the people. Okay. So when we say that it is a temporal cohesion, when a module, it contains functions that are related by the fact that these functions are executed in the same time span. So which will all the functions that will be executed in the same time span they are clubbed together under one module, then we say that it is a temporal cohesion between the modules. So the modules, they will work together. That means they can be, the functions are executed in the same time span. So all these functions are clubbed and they are bundled under one module, and that module is said to have a temporal cohesion. So suppose if I give an example, when a computer is booted, what happens? Several functions need to be performed. Several function means when a computer is booted, there is a initialization of the memory and the devices. There is a loading of the operating system that is happening. So when a single module performs all these tasks, then the module can be said to exhibit temporal cohesion, because once you you do the computer on, one part looks for the OS booting, one part look for the memory and the device booting, one part looks for some other, suppose making on the CPU and all that. So even if it is a single computer, but different functions are performing different work. They are performing different work in order to give you the output that the computer is now on for your use. You can use your computer. It has been rebooted. It has been started. So the functions are different, but they all work for the common objective. And whatever time is there, they should all work with, coordinate with each other, so that as a result, you will see that your screen has lightened up. Because suppose the OS is taking too long, the other things have started, or the other things is taking too long, the OS has started, then you will not get the output that the computer is on. So these type of functions, they are said to exhibit temporal cohesion among themselves. Okay. So any initialization, shut up process, shutdown process, these all functions of that module always perform temporal cohesion among themselves. That is, they work together, different functions are there, they work together. The common objective is to make the computer on, and these all functions, they need to work together and at the same time, so that once you click the mouse, then only you can see the entire Word document. So Word document is functioning differently, mouse is working differently, that may not happen, right? So this is the example of temporal cohesion. Next is the example of procedural cohesion. Right? So if the set of the functions of the module, they are executed one after the other, even though these functions may work towards entirely different purposes, or they can operate on very different data types, but these functions, they execute one after the other. So these type of functions, we will say that they exhibit procedural cohesion. Suppose, for example, suppose I am ordering something, my order is being processed in a trade house. So I will do first what? There will be first a login, then there will be place your order, then there will be, after placing, check your order, then there will be a print bill, then there will be finally place the order on the vendor, right? And what will be there? Update the inventory, right? So suppose you have gone to the big bazaar, what will happen? The person who is at the cash counter, he will first log in, he will place your order, he will ask for you to check the order. According to that order, the bill will be printed. Then finally the vendor will place the order. And once these orders have been deducted from their stock, they need to update the inventory also, right? So, and finally he will do what? He will finally do the logout, right? The logout. So all these different activities, they work differently, they operate on different data items also, but however, they are normally executed one after the other during a typical ordering procedure by a sales person or a cash counter person. This order is maintained, right? You cannot place the order without logging, or there is no order and you cannot print the bill, or there is a bill and you are not updating, or you do not log out from the system. No. So this order needs to be maintained, even if they perform different tasks or they work on different data items. An order is maintained between all the functions that are clubbed under this module. Suppose the module name is order. Order is the module name. So these are the functions which will be under this module, right? So even if these functions do not work together with each other, but still they work for the common objective order, to place the order, successfully place the order, right? So this is the concept about procedural cohesion. Okay. So I will stop here today. I will share the QR code. So today we learned about the different types of cohesion. Among them, we learned coincidental cohesion. The example was the book lending concept. Then we learned logical cohesion. The example was to print some data. And then we learned temporal cohesion. The example was like the computer OS starting up. They all work at the same time span. Then we learned about the procedural cohesion, which means that the functions that are clubbed under that module, they work one after the other. Some sequence is maintained. So these are procedural cohesion. So we have studied about 4 types of cohesion. So in the next class, we will be studying about the other 3 types of cohesion and the rest of the types of coupling. Okay. So if you have any doubts till now, you can ask me. And for your attendance, I'm sharing the screen. Okay, so there are only 5 candidates, not an issue. I will give you the attendance manually. So Rupam, Pallavi, Shivam, Shubhash, and another 2 were there. They did not join this time. So Afreen and Suchitra also. So I will give you the attendance manually. So thank you all for attending the class. Thank you so much.